Hello again, guys. I've received the exact same comment on basically every social platform I'm involved in about 12 times over the last few days, so I thought it was about time to make a video about it. And that is, Jordan, what are you gonna do? They require you to register drones now. That's right. Here in the United States, starting on December 21st, 2015, you will be required by the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, to register any drones, any quadcopters, multirotors, whatever, larger than 0.55 pounds, that's 250 grams, and smaller than 55 pounds. Previously, it was just anything larger than 55 pounds, and there was a whole written process for that. Now, it should be mentioned, this is not intended for indoor-only drones. So your little teeny tiny quadcopters that you can only fly indoors, you're not gonna have to register those. Your little teeny tiny helicopters that are infrared remote only, and you cannot fly them outdoors because they physically will not work in the sun. Those are going to be fine. And like I said earlier, this only applies to things that weigh more than 250 grams, things that weigh more than half a pound. And that weight specifically applies to the total weight of the craft. So for example, this U807 that I've got here that I'm working on a review of, it can actually be stripped down pretty lightweight. You can take off the camera, you can take off, it normally comes with prop guards and landing gear and things like that. You can strip all of that off and make it very, very lightweight. But if you're going to be using it with a camera and the prop guards and the landing gear and whatever else, you've got to measure that when you're measuring to see if it's over half a pound. So make sure to keep that in mind. One of the other requirements is that you must be 13 years of age or older and a US citizen to apply for one of these registrations. And the way that I look at it is it's kind of like having a license plate on your car. Sort of. It's like a mix between having your driver's license, which is one unique identifier to say this is me, and having a license plate on your car. Sort of like having your driver's license identification number plastered onto your car. And the reason I like equating it like this is basically if something happens and your car ends up plowing through the front door of a Walmart, even if you're not there, it is still your car. It is still your responsibility at the end of the day. You're the one that purchased it. You're the one whose name it should be in. And in the same vein, if you're flying a drone around, or if someone you know is flying a drone around that you have purchased and you are not supervising it, you are still technically responsible for it. Bit of a side note, extenuating circumstances do happen. Vehicles get stolen. I can imagine quadcopters would get stolen. That's not what I'm talking about here. Now, as I was kind of alluding to earlier, there is only one registration required per owner. It's a one-time registration fee of $5. So if you do own a whole lot of drones like I do, you do not have to register all of them. You really just have to take that number and put it onto everyone that's over a certain weight. And just to read a quote here from their site, a quote from their Q&A site that I've got pulled up in the back there. Question: if I own multiple drones, do I have to register them all? Answer: no. You may register only once and apply the same registration number to all your UAS, your unmanned aerial system, unmanned aircraft systems, your drones, your quadcopters. Now the good news here is the registration is going to be free for the first 30 days, starting on December 21st. Now the downside of that is they do make you pay $5 up front to do it, but they then credit you back that $5 later. It's just basically saying, yes, I validate that I'm a person, that I have a valid credit card, you can ping me and make sure that I am me. And you do end up getting that back. If you register after the first 30 days, it is still going to cost you $5. And I will point it out here, you must renew this registration every 3 years, and it does cost $5 to renew. So you get it free the first time, and then 3 years from now you'll have to pay to renew, if you're still involved in the hobby. Now for anything that has already been purchased, anything purchased before December 21st, you will have to have it registered by February 19th, 2016. For anything purchased on or after that date, you have to have it registered before you can never take off the first time. Meaning, for example, if you purchase a brand new DJI Phantom 3 for the holidays on December 24th, before you take it outside and fly it that first time, you have to go to the FAA's website and you have to get registered. That's not to say that there's gonna be the cops show up at your door the first time you try to fly it, but you really don't wanna take that chance. It's kinda like, hey, I'm 16 now, so I'm gonna go get in my car and I'm gonna drive down to the store. Just because you are of legal age to drive a car doesn't mean you're legally registered to drive that car. In the same vein, just because you are of legal age to fly a drone or a quadcopter does not mean you should be legally entitled to fly that, because there have been a lot of people doing a lot of stupid things with drones and quadcopters specifically lately. Now there is one thing I have neglected to mention here, is that if you do not register, you could face massive fines or even jail time. Fines up to $250,000 and up to 3 years imprisonment. This is serious stuff. Now, as far as how you can tell the weight, how you can tell if the things that you own are going to be required to be registered. Pretty much if it's anything that I've shown so far, so any of these nano quadcopters, or any of these micro quadcopters, or even most of these mini quadcopters, you're gonna be okay. However, if you don't know, you might wanna take a look at one of these. This is a little digital kitchen scale that I've got. And basically you hit the on-off button. It tells you exactly how much whatever it is you've placed on it weighs. As an example, this U807, as it stands currently with nothing else on it, is 110 grams. Whereas one of these little teeny tiny nano quadcopters, it's a total of 13 grams, so don't worry about it. The point where you really sort of need to start paying attention to it is when it's larger than this. If it's something like a racing quadcopter, the SEMA X8C, any of the DJI Phantom 3 quadcopters, Phantom 2, Phantom 1, any of the larger video platforms, they're probably gonna weigh in excess excess of a half a pound, probably in excess of several pounds. And actually I was a little bit surprised to find out that even my little racing quadcopter here does fall into that range. It's gonna have to be registered. Just throwing it on the scale very quickly, it's right at 400 grams, so it is going to have to be registered. But the good thing there is you're not actually individually registering your quadcopters. You are registering yourself one time. So I will be going to the FAA website on December 21st, filling out the information, getting a registration number to say who I am and to identify me as a pilot, as a quadcopter, a UAS pilot, and any quad or drone that I have that's larger than this, basically. I'll just plaster that number on there. I'll probably print it out with a label maker, stick it to it, maybe even stick it under the battery or something, because I don't remember seeing anything on there as to where you have to actually display it, just that it has to be on there somewhere. Presumably so that if someone were to find your crashed drone, or if someone were to be injured by your drone, they could pick it up, say, here's a number on it, call the police or call the FAA with it and say, this number hit me, this number did damage to me, and they could get in contact with the person who did it and say, why you do this. So in theory, this is kind of a good service. So you'll have to let me know down in the comment section below how much this is going to impact you. Is this something that you're really into? Is this something that you think is a great idea? Is this a horrible idea? Personally, I think I'm not going to be impacted all that much by it. I do have some larger quadcopters, some larger drones, and I do plan to continue flying them after this, obviously, and I am going to be registering for it. I don't think it's going to be impacting me because I generally do not fly stupid. And I hate to put it that way, but there are a lot of people that will go out and fly their quadcopters or fly their drones in wrong areas. They'll fly them too close to airports. They'll fly them too close to other people. They'll fly them in crowds of people, and a lot of times end up crashing them to crowds of people. They'll fly them too close to forest fires so that the forestry service cannot get close enough to actually help extinguish the flames. People doing stupid things for the sake of the shot, or people doing stupid things for the sake of the thrill. This is to help combat that. And while yes, this is currently only a thing for the US, there may be similar regulations coming to other parts of the world, so this is actually a good thing to know about if you're in other areas, just because it may happen to you eventually. So let me know what you think about all this down in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, hit the thumbs up below this video if you like this video. Share it with your friends if they are quadcopter or drone flyers as well. And I will see you again in the next one. Bye guys.